lived in 9 different cities around the world, studied 3 foreign languages, and I work as a filmmaker and travel TV host. And I found that the best way to be hooked up in a city and guarantee that you're more than a tourist is by taking time to understand the people.
The life is good. Don't make me cry. I'm crying because I'm happy. It's a beautiful story. Yeah, it's happened to me. Yeah, it happened to me. Yeah.
Once you do something brave, once you do something that scares you, and you're successful, then everything opens up for you because you know that you can do it.
And it's impossible to be complacent from that point on, is it?
Exactly.
You feel like every year of your life is a gift, and what are you going to do with it?
Yeah.
Where are you going to go? Who are you going to meet?
Am I teaching you how to flirt? I'm going to tackle you to death.
No. He said if you can be downstairs in 2 minutes, I can get you an invite and you can go along to this wedding. Do you want to come to Barcelona with me?
Are you serious?
Yes.
One day I think I need to change my life and try to find my real life and maybe less money. But when you are thinking in the future always, you never live the life really.
These children are here alone. It breaks your heart because they are so happy just to receive a pair of socks, and makes you very emotional.
I loved you. I love her in how many? 10 minutes. It takes us 10 minutes to love each other.
This is just me, filming everything on my own, giving you intimate access to people and places all over the world.
Good morning. That's an example of a series that I made. Guys, I don't like to consider myself a professional cinematographer or editor. I am a student in this industry, but I guess in the past year, I spoke at IBC last year, and in the past 12 months, I have experienced all the highs and lows that are involved with this industry. I have been so broke that I have not been able to afford even batteries for my LED light. I have been chased by super brands. I mean, brands that have literally said to me, Kylie, we want to throw a lot of money at this, name your price. We just want you to tell stories, be yourself, and we just want to be associated with it. We don't even need product placement. I've had brands want to collaborate with me that are valued in the market at $25 billion. I've put a series online that is getting over 1 million views per episode on YouTube. I've also been rejected professionally on the phone, in person, via email. I had one TV executive say to me, I just watched your sizzle reel, and I do not believe that you shot this by yourself and that you edited it. You must have, you must be lying. So, you know, there's been like so many different experiences in the last 12 months because I'm trying to do the whole production process as just one person. And it does sound crazy, but I'm going to tell you why I've learned so much from this experience. Basically, I think that when things are going wrong, it's a real test of your reasoning. You know, you're thinking, am I doing this for money or for fame or for to be more alluring to the opposite sex, for your ego? I think that when you are sleep deprived, just exhausted, you've got hours and hours of footage to look through, your hard drive's just died, your client is on the phone and saying, yeah, we just want one more modification for the 100th time. I mean, when all of these things are happening and you still cannot think of anything more stimulating, more exciting than spending 10 hours just looking at that timeline, I mean, this is how I feel, then you know that you're in the right industry. And I guess that, you know, I think that whether you're a cameraman, an editor, you're any type of filmmaker, you know, we are in this because it's it's love, it's a passion. I don't think it's the type of trade where your parents are pushing you into it, where you're doing it, you know, because it sounds cool. You know, you're not doing it necessarily even for the money. I mean, it's not, you know, people don't associate this with really getting rich quick. So why are we here, or why did you get into this industry in the first place? I think that invariably the answer to that is because I love it. And what does this mean? I mean, this means that fundamentally, in the beginning, every filmmaker has a passion project, a dream gig. You have in your head this idea of, you know what, that job, that I would do just for the sheer creative thrill. You know, money wouldn't be important, you know, how, you know, leaving loved ones at home or spending long periods on the road, exhaustion, all of this, it wouldn't matter, because you would just get so excited by the creative experience. And, you know, I think that now, when the industry is so open to innovation, you know, when technology and the software is evolving at such a rate that you can work remotely, you can work on your own or in a small team, you don't have to wait for significant funding in order to get a project off the ground. You know, you don't have to, you know, even have the right, you know, wait for the right audience. I mean, niche audiences now are so accessible by finding them online. And so I do think that there is simply no excuse for any creative not to be following this pursuit and going after their dream job and making it their full-time gig. A lot of people say to me, you know, Kylie, what do you do? You know, I'm a travel TV host and filmmaker. I make travel TV shows. And always the response is, you're so lucky, what a dream job, wish I was you. And you know, I think really, like, I don't believe luck had anything to do with it. I honestly think that any creative with enough drive and tenacity and I guess willingness to really work hard can be doing their dream job. It's not a reflection on me personally. I mean, honestly, 2-3 years ago, I hadn't even picked up a camera. I had never looked at an editing timeline. It's just such an exciting time to be a filmmaker. You really can take a concept, take this little dream you have in your head and just run with it. I mean, I still have so much to learn. I mean, it's technically, I'm just at the beginning. I really do have to study so many different aspects of production, but you know what? Like, it's happening so fast. Every day I'm out there shooting. I come back into wherever I am in the world. I'm editing. I'm editing in airports. Then when I finish editing, I'm on YouTube watching tutorials by some 13-year-old or some guy who's been in the industry for 30 years, and they're collaborative, they're supportive. I mean, these are people who are just putting videos online because they want to encourage fellow storytellers. I mean, this is a great industry to be in. I mean, there are not many professions where a complete stranger on the other side of the world will be saying, do you know what? I get you. I speak a different language. You know, I can see that you're just a complete amateur in my industry, but I want to help you because I know what it feels like when you're telling a story and you just have this passion for that craft. Just getting a bit off track, I guess a little bit about my background is I'm Australian, and I was working as a journalist in Australia, a business journalist, and doing lots of interviews with people all over the world. And you know what, even though it's the written word, I do think that this was a natural segue, because when you think about editing or filming, I mean, really, storytelling is all about rhythm, it's all about timing. So whether I'm writing a 12-page feature article or whether I'm doing it in video, I think in any case it's all about that rhythm, and it's all about, you know, engaging people with a story. If you bring it back to this, it's really quite simple, and it doesn't really matter, you know, how you're doing it. I guess what happened for me is, you know, I had a really good job, great salary, paid every month. You know, I could afford to pay my rent and buy groceries, which all of that changed quite dramatically when I started doing this. But But you know, I wasn't happy because I had this real passion for cinema, and I studied neorealist Italian cinema at university. I minored in it, and I remember my mother saying, like, honey, where's neorealist Italian cinema really going to get you? You know, I know you're passionate about it, but and I thought to myself, you know what, I really truly believe that the travel genre, factual television, is tired. It is boring. I mean, they're just repeating the same formats time and time again. And in the travel genre, I think this is ridiculous. I mean, gosh, you know, I would see you know, these presenters. They go into a country and they stand there, and there's some like vacuous blonde who's like smiling and saying, and now we're gonna go and, you know, check out the Eiffel Tower. Come with me. And I think like this is not relevant anymore. I mean, before, people weren't able to travel, so these countries weren't accessible. Now everyone is traveling, all different ages, you know, like teenagers even on their weekends. So what do we need to do then in this genre? You need to give them something that goes beneath, like that gets, you know, into a society and really shows them something that they cannot get on their own when they get a little EasyJet flight and land in a city and have a you know, Lonely Planet app or something. You need to give them something more. And I was thinking, like, you know, this is video, like this is moving images. You need to give them emotion. I mean, I don't understand this idea of a travel show where it's just facts. Let's check out the top 5 restaurants. Let's check out the you know, top places to top hotels. I mean, this is all stuff. This is just these are just facts. This is not making you feel anything. And anyway, I thought, you know, I would really love to make a show that is real, that is not scripted, because I travel a lot. I mean, you know, I've lived in many different places all over the world, and for me to understand a place is not to go to the top 5 tourist sites. It's to speak with the people and hear their stories. So I'm in Australia. Got a good job. I've got a boyfriend. I've got an apartment. Everything's easy. It's in my own language. And I think, you know what? I want to go where people live cinematically. You know, I'm very romantic and an optimist, obviously. You know, when I see these any type of film, and often I was saying yesterday in my speech as well, like, you know, people will say, oh, that would never happen in real life, that's just Hollywood. No, I don't believe that. No, I think real life is fascinating. Real people, I mean, they are so beautiful. Details, anything. You go, I mean, you could honestly go anywhere and find a narrative, whether it be a minute long or a feature film. And I thought, where do people live the most cinematically? It has to be Rome. It has to be Italy. So my boss actually he gave me this huge promotion to run the publishing house I was working at. You know, my boyfriend, very serious, and wanted to continue things. I said no to both. Quit my job, left my country, booked a room in a convent with a bunch of Italian nuns in Rome, and thought, I'm going to make a life here. I want to live somewhere where people, you know, believe that life can be like a film. And so I did. I became fluent in Italian. I arrived there not knowing anyone, and it was great. And, you know, people said to me, no, but you're Kylie, you're a straniera, you're a foreigner, you know, you just have this romantic vision of Italy. No, I'm telling you, like 5 years later, it is the most cinematic place to live in the world. And I started working on this project. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to make a show that literally, when people sit down after a long day of work, after sitting in a traffic, you know, they turn it on and they say, I want to do something that makes me feel alive. And it was a little bit audacious, this idea, because, you know, I've never done a show before. I wanted to be first-time host, producer, format creator, and the reason I was doing it is not because I thought I was, you know, anyone special or had anything more to offer, but it's just because when I was dreaming of this life in the office, in my home country, I just wasn't finding anything that gave me real escapism, something genuine. You know, I was finding all these shows that were so scripted, so overproduced. So anyway, I'm pitching like crazy to like little production companies, Australian production companies in America, the UK, everywhere. everyone says, yeah, great, great, but no, sorry, like we just, there's no way we will even shoot a pilot. It's too risky. So finally, I find this little production company in Rome. They take a chance on me. We shoot a pilot. It gets picked up by Nat Geo and Discovery. It's now on air in 68 countries. And we shoot 13 episodes, this big road trip all throughout Italy. And I freak the film crew out because I'm saying, no, like I'm giving you the list of locations and I'm giving you, these are all the people, but we're going to go and meet like real people that I have relationships with, because I honestly believe that you can see it in people's eyes when there is a genuine rapport, and they're going, but Kylie, no, it's okay, if you have to do a scene where you're making the pasta with the little woman, we just find the little woman in the street and you don't have to know her. But I was like, no, I don't want to do this. I'm not interested in this. I think that audiences are changing and they're savvy and they know, and you see it in their little body movements, in the way that someone speaks, even if they're speaking in a different language. When the rapport is real. And so, every episode I'm with people that have meant something to me. The nuns originally who taught me how to cook. All these different people that were a part of my life. Forming as an expat in Italy. Anyway, I went on to make other shows as well in Italy, and it was good. It was a great experience, and I learned a lot as a producer and as a host. But I just continually kept finding, whether it was in the field with the crew or in the editing suite at the post-production stage, people were apathetic, and I said, guys, come on, let's get this shot. Like imagine, we can be, I'll run up there, and they're like, no, Kylie, we just, we want to break for lunch, and it'd be too complicated, and then in the editing suite, I'm like, let's look through all that footage, because I'm still sure there was like a better close-up of that woman. No, this one will do, and I was struggling with this, because obviously I know you're probably thinking, yeah, well, what a nightmare working with this overenthusiastic person who's quite new to the industry, but I felt like all of these people I was working with, they really wanted to be working on a feature film, and that's understandable. Everybody does. It's bigger. It's more serious. But I just said, look, we're here. We got to make 13 episodes. Okay, it's television, but we can still make something beautiful. We can still push ourselves creatively. I mean, this is what I was thinking in my head, and it just became difficult. I think you can't convince someone to be passionate about something, and at the same time, as I was experiencing all of this, what I was noticing is that there was a definitive shift in how audiences are consuming content. What was happening is that there was this crazy hunger for intimacy, and you see all these shows and they have these giant marketing machines behind them, and people realize that now. And in stark contrast, you've got YouTube, which is serving up really fresh, authentic, honest, and addictive content. Okay, the production quality, yeah, it doesn't compare with broadcast, but in any case, what it means is that audiences suddenly were being able to identify, this person is telling the truth, and this person here, this is scripted. And you know what that does? All of a sudden they're stepping back and they're looking at what they're looking at on TV and saying, I don't buy it. That's not real. That's this guy is smiling, but he's really got a writer who's just fed in these lines, and there's he's saying he's just found this little cottage. No, the location manager found that cottage. The producer is off camera just saying, hey, this place will look great. You don't know it, but here's the background info on it. I worked also in Italy helping out on these shows, because lots of travel presenters come, and they come over from America, and they land for 2 weeks, and they say, Kylie, you actually live here. Give us a lowdown. I really want to sound knowledgeable and like I actually hang out here all the time. so tell me quickly, what is this person, and how do you say this word? And then they go on camera, and it's all fake. And I don't know. Maybe I'm idealistic, but I do believe that people are noticing this now. And so what I believe is that. While audiences are seeing, okay, they've got this hunger for authenticity, at the same time too, they're understanding how we make content technically. Why? Because you've got these mass market products like the phone, like the camera that people will take away, couples, families on a holiday, like Instagram filters. And all of these things are making even the most technologically, creatively inept person feel like they are a cinematographer, a filmmaker, a photographer. This can freak you out. You can think, no, this is not fair. Like, this is our craft. We are experts now. Everyone thinks that they can do this. No, guys, I don't believe this. I think it is brilliant. I think this is a wonderful thing for the industry. And I'll tell you why. Because what happens now, suddenly there is this curiosity and this awareness that, content, beautiful content, doesn't just fall from the sky. It is made. There are people behind it. There are artists behind it. Maybe this is romanticizing it, I don't know, but I think that when I often use the comparison with the food industry. Look at the crazy obsession with cooking shows and cooking at home in general. I mean, now everyone wants to know, where did my produce come from? The slow food movement, is it organic? How do I do this recipe? You've got apps for cooking what you've just seen on TV. Now, do people turn away from restaurants? No. They still want to go to a restaurant. They still want to have a dish cooked for them by an expert, by a chef. What it means, though, is that they actually have an appreciation of how hard it is to put that product in front of them, and have an appreciation that, this is a craft. And I honestly do believe that in the film industry, it's the same thing. Sure, people can press an Instagram filter and then get some kind of something equivalent to, with light and shadow, whatever. But let's think about what elicits emotion. Okay, this is composition, pace, storytelling. I mean, these are things that you can't get with a camera setting. You can't get just by I don't know, on your phone, or you on social media, selecting some kind of filter. I don't think that there is any danger of the expert not being appreciated, because their storytelling has to come from a human. It can't come from a setting, and at least this is how I feel. So what did I do? I'm seeing that okay, that people need sincerity, and I thought, I wonder what would happen if I really just studied every single facet of the production process from the start to the finish, and I'm talking everything. So I studied. I thought, is this even possible? And when I spoke to people in the industry, they said, no, it's not. You're crazy. You're an idiot. You're actually naive. But I couldn't afford to go to film school, so I just stayed up every single night, every day. I mean, my friends would tell you, they just lost me. I was such a loner. I was ravenous. I just wanted more information. And you know what? I found that it was out there, and you can find it, and you can find it for free. And anyone that says, I can't afford to go to film school, so what? I just think that you can make a lot of mistakes, and sure, for me, I'm embarrassed even. I mean, I didn't even have a ProRes file to show you guys today. It's super jumpy, but you gotta make mistakes, because in the end, it's more important that you get out there, shoot it, film it, make it, edit it, share it with the world, and then you get so much. The learning curve there is crazy. I mean, I may be at a beginner level, but I'm telling you, I'm learning so quickly. I mean, just in a week, I'm learning to rotoscope, and I'm putting that instantly into my episodes. I think that there has never been a more exciting time to be a filmmaker, and I also believe that if you don't get out there, and if you are scared and saying, you know what, I don't have the right camera equipment, I prefer to shoot this on an ARRI, and I only have a DSLR, whatever. I mean, there will never be enough funding. You'll never have the right team. You'll never have the ideal circumstances. You just won't. And what will happen is you'll spend your life working on someone else's dream, and you'll forget why you got into this industry in the beginning. And maybe you think this is okay, simplifying it a bit, but I don't know. I've experienced a lot of rejection. I've put all my money into it, and I've been super broke. I mean, I was saying yesterday, like, I'm the girl who I would go for coffee in Italy, and I get an espresso, and I'd take extra serviettes, because I was like, you know what, I don't know if I can afford toilet paper this week, but hey, I've got a great lens. And so, you know, I really do, I have seen firsthand just how difficult it can be to really get a project off the ground, and when you're all alone as well. So I was studying all of this, all of these aspects, and I just decided I'm gonna make a TV show, and I'm gonna do it all on my own. And that way, you know, no one would believe in me. So I thought, who cares? I've just got to get out there, and I'm going to show them that I can do this. So I carry all of my film equipment around on my back, and I am the host, you know, I do everything. I'm the cameraman. I do the editing. I even do my own distribution. So, you know, I'm calling up, you know, heads of big networks, big American networks, and I'm at MIP in Cannes, and they're like, yeah, you know, we saw your sizzle reel, and yeah, we're super interested, and we'll meet at MIP. And I'm like, yeah, I can't actually afford a ticket, but you know what? I can meet you at the cafe across the road from the Palais. And they do. And you know what I think is that people respond to genuine passion. I think this is true, and you don't necessarily need to be shooting on the most appropriate camera equipment. You don't need to have your vision exactly as you would like it to be. It's more important that you're out there shooting and you're learning, because the other thing is that I found with you know, I started off with broadcast and then went into YouTube, which is a strange kind of a strange kind of path. It's not the usual path, but I'm quite excited by YouTube, because when I put out an episode, I mean, it's happening so that, you know, I'm shooting, and then you know, I'm changing countries every month, and I'm putting it out there, and I'm reading the comments, or I'm seeing the, you know, on the back end, I'm looking, wow, like people dropped off at this point. Or more interesting is what we found is, if people are engaged in the first 5 seconds, they will stay for 10 minutes. I found this fascinating. I always thought, no, bite-sized content, you absolutely, you know, you're dealing with this generation that has serious attention deficit disorder. I mean, you can't possibly put up 10 minutes of content. No, actually you can. If you tell a good story in the first 5 seconds, they will stay for the duration. And this is really interesting to me. I mean, what is fundamental at this stage, you know, where the industry is at, is being able to improvise. You need to be listening to what audiences are telling you. You need to be looking at, okay, software has been updated this month, great. Like, I've got to learn it. I've got to work out how to incorporate that into my work. And it's exciting, because you know what? As soon as you realize that you've got to be responsive, you've got to be listening, you've got to be aware of everything that's going on, then it's quite fast. I mean, as soon as you've got a new skill, as soon as you're spotting a new trend in the audience, you can implement it immediately into your work. And okay, this may not work on a film or even on a broadcast television, but you know, I'm finding that sometimes I want to put content, you know, on YouTube just to test it and see, right, you know, how does this make people feel? And you see in the comments, and sometimes they're brutal. I mean, for me, often, I mean, there has been some really insulting stuff. But most of the comments are saying, you know what, like, this made me feel something, and wow, what a compliment. I mean, this is for me the ultimate goal. So where am I at now? I guess one of the things I've found is that now that I am getting big brands talking to me, I'm getting networks wanting series from me, and I'm getting, you know, over 1 million views per episode on this series. A lot of people say to me, okay, so now, Kylie, now you're just gonna outsource the editing, right? Like, you're gonna like take one assistant or something when you go off on these travels. And I say, no, you don't get it. Like, this is not a budget issue. This is about heightening the intimacy. This is about heightening the authenticity. It's about storytelling in a new way, and a way that I think is the future. I think that scripted, factual stories, I mean, they're going to become irrelevant, because people won't feel anything anymore. They'll be like, tell me something true. Show me something that's real, because I think it's this kind of shift. Before it was the magic of television. Now it's the beauty of transparency. And you know, this is for me. I get goosebumps because I have these experiences. So, for example, I'm hiking in the Atlas Mountains. I hear these goats, and I see this shepherd like up on the hill. And I'm thinking, I want to hear his story, you know? I want to know, like, what's his day like? So I leave one tripod with my camera just where I am, and you know, shooting in 4K so that then I can crop it in, because I don't know where we'll end up on the mountain. So it's great, right? I'm shooting on a GH4, and I can shoot in 4K, and I frame the whole mountain. I'm like, so wherever we end up, I'm going to be able to crop in on that. Then I take another camera with me, and I'm racing up like the mountain, just trying to basically stalk a Moroccan shepherd. This is my life. You know, and when I find him, I'm trying to say a few words to him in Arabic, you know, just to be respectful. But you know what the thing is that I found you can have this connection with people when it's just you one-on-one. If I had, you know, a guy with a boom over the top and a producer saying, yeah, no, we you know, just sit down here, guys, and you know, even just I've worked even just with one cameraman. It takes away that trust that people have in you, and I'm always in foreign countries. Invariably, I'm speaking to someone for whom English is not their first language. But you know what? It doesn't matter, because it's all about the eyes, and you capture that with a macro lens. You know, you see that, and I sat down cross-legged with this Moroccan shepherd, and we're talking, and it's real, and there's this connection, and I believe you see that on camera. I mean, there's this other woman. I mean, we start off just talking about the weather, and we end up the conversation, and she's saying, she's telling me this story about how her father sold her as a prostitute, you know, when she was a child. I mean, this is stuff that you don't get when you've got a film crew standing around. And I'm excited by this. I think that this is what will engage people. It's what will gain people's trust. Because, you know, I make a lot of mistakes, but people will forgive that, because they'll say, you know what, I know this girl is real. I know that she hasn't just stepped into shot and said, okay, you know, ask a few questions. No, I'm sweaty. I've carried my tripod, my slider. I'm like racing around trying to, like, you know, put a lapel mic on a shepherd, and you know, they get that. I'm showing the behind the scenes stuff. I mean, this is exciting, because you know what, I'm getting emails from people who are saying, we want to know, how did you get that shot? How did you, you know, what happened, like, before that scene and after? I don't know if you've seen, like, Philip Bloom is a huge inspiration to me, and like this series that he's done for CNN. I mean, with Bill Weir, the Wonderlist. I mean, now, you know, people are more interested, I would say, in his cinematography. This is so cool, because, you know, the mass market, even if they're not in the industry, want to know, how are these stories put together? Anyway, sorry if I'm just a little bit enthusiastic, but I'm quite passionate, and I'm quite optimistic about the future, and I hope you are too. So thank you.